Hello and welcome to tonight's broadcast of Tap Into the Truth. With you as always, this is your ever so humble host, Tim Tapp, coming to you live from historic Roane County, Tennessee. And man, that didn't take long at all, did it? If you're wondering what I'm talking about, we're talking about the time between Ted Cruz making his official announcement to run for the office of president, seeking the Republican nomination, and the time for everybody and their grandmother to come out and start attacking. Look, he knew this was going to happen. Everybody knew this was going to happen. That's why nobody wanted to be first. Ted Cruz in particular was a much bigger target because he was a Tea Party favorite, which means the Republican GOP establishment don't like this guy. Number one, he made a point of leading by example. He stood up on the floor of the Senate and he conducted an honest-to-goodness, old-school, the way it's supposed to be done, filibuster. And he did it taking a stand on principle. Principle only. One of the more disappointing things I think I saw was a statement attributed to Rand Paul, who also made waves not long before Ted Cruz gave his filibuster. Rand Paul attempted a filibuster, didn't last as long, didn't function as well, didn't stand on the same principle, but brought a lot of national attention to the fact that Barack Obama seemed to think it was okay to kill whoever he wanted to via drone strike. That's what he did. Did he feel like he was upstaged because he didn't get in first? Rand, get in the race. Who will be next? What will be next? Well, they're already coming out hot and heavy. The long knives are sharpened, and they're coming for Ted Cruz. People on both sides of the political spectrum have set their target firmly on the man who had the courage, the nerve, and the gumption to step to the forefront first. And I got to tell you, I like Ted Cruz. I think he is a genuine man of principle. And I think he's demonstrated that principle over time. And for all the criticisms that are out there, and we'll address some of them tonight, and if anybody wants to hop in the chat room and throw some information out there, we can talk about that as well. But I think this man can answer the challenge. And there are a ton of challenges to be answered. First and foremost, to be the president of the United States is the toughest job on the planet, if you actually do it. That's why Barack has had such an easy go of it. The occupier has never actually taken the time to govern. He's always been in fundraising or campaigning mode, period. If it wasn't for Valerie Jarrett actually running his administration, I don't think anything at all would be getting done. Not that that should surprise anybody. But here's the thing. Ted Cruz is a man who understands the Constitution and cherishes it, is willing to stand up and defend it, is willing to stand up for the people of this country, as he has done already, for no purpose other than the fact that that's the job he begged for when he became a senator. But Ted Cruz has not had an easy road. He's come up a hard way, the way a lot of honest-to-goodness true conservatives have. There's nothing terribly unique, and yet it's completely unique. It's the story of an American. And that's where we'll kind of peel off first, because here's the thing that's really surprised me. And we've talked about it some on the show before, particularly on the Sunday show, where we've discussed his eligibility, and that's become a hot topic all of a sudden, mostly because a lot of libs want to attack in the same type of fashion that a lot of folks went after Barry. And, Barry has been at the forefront of whether or not he was eligible to be president over his citizenship. Was he truly a natural-born citizen or not? Well, I've always contended that it doesn't matter so much where he was born as much as what he had to do in order to attend public school in Indonesia. The requirements there, as I understand it, is that you have to be a citizen to attend public school. Indonesia doesn't have dual citizenship with other countries, so he had to give up his American citizenship. Now, is the naturalization process required for him to come back through to retain, to reacquire the American citizenship? To be honest, I'm not 100% sure how that works, but I honestly believe anything more that Barack Hussein Obama received financial aid in attending college under the guise of receiving foreign student aid. I think he did that on purpose to help pay for his school, and I think the threat of academic dishonesty, try fraud, could come back to haunt him, which is why he had those records sealed. Because if the schools were faced with the fact that he had received scholarship as a foreign student and his status as a U.S. citizen wasn't in question, then he would owe them that money back. And they might be forced to do something along the lines of, revoke his degrees. Students have had their degrees revoked in major universities for less. Sometimes it's just the accusation of plagiarism. But we'll move away from that. The thing here is, I want this to be a non-Obama zone tonight. I mean, we're going to have to touch on it, I know, but let's focus on Ted and other topics. We can talk about other things. But what's hilarious is the fact that the left jumped on this as soon as he announced. You even had people like Whoopi Goldberg and the ladies at The View raising the stink about how they wanted to see his birth certificate and they're first in line and blah, 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 yakety smackety. Or whatever, Whoopi. Alright? Settle down. Been a while since you've done anything of significance. I understand. But you should be a happier person, Whoopi. You've had a great deal of success in Hollywood. You've done things that people love you for. Your role in Ghost, for example. Sister Act. People love that. You did a good job, Whoopi. You're talented. Personally, as a not-so-closet but sort of almost Trekkie, I loved you in Next Gen when you played Guinan, both on the television show and on the movie Generations. You're good at what you do as an actress and a comedian. So do that and leave the political... leave the world of the political to the people that's their thing. Okay? You only embarrass yourself, Whoopi. But, again, let's bring it back. Like I said, we've talked on this show. We've heard the talk. It's been all over the place about the fact that, Ted Cruz is Canadian. Ted Cruz is Canadian. Okay, Ted Cruz was born in Canada. And his father was Cuban. Yep. That's right. Ted is half Cuban. His mother was born in Delaware. Now, the question about whether or not someone's a natural-born citizen is a little vague if you look just at the Constitution. And ordinarily, that's where I say, let's go to the tell of the tape. The Constitution says. Only, there's not a lot in the Constitution describing exactly what a natural-born citizen is. So, with, like a lot of other topics, it helps sometimes to look at things like the Federalist Papers. It helps to take a look at what did the founders have in mind, what did the framers have in mind when they were putting the Constitution together. Well, obviously, they were concerned about the possibility of a foreign agent becoming the chief executive and, worse than that, commander-in-chief. So they wanted to make sure that you couldn't just come to the States for a little while, go through the motions, memorize the stuff you needed to memorize for your test, although, whatever it took to become naturalized, they wanted you to be able to skip that. So under that precept, a lot of legal minds, especially in the last few months, have come out. They come forward. Folks from the Harvard Law Review, former Solicitor Generals from both the Obama administration and the Bush administration have come forward. A lot of people are saying the same thing. They're saying the same thing that applied for Mr. McCain when he was running. Because a lot of people made a big stink about John McCain being born in the Panama Canal Zone. His father was in the military, was serving there at the time of his birth. Here's the deal. If you have a natural-born citizen parent, if both parents are citizens, and Ted Cruz's father did become a citizen. He had to be naturalized, but he was Cuban. He was born Cuban. He is Cuban. Okay, I got that. Hispanic. For those of you who want to start playing and turning the left's playbook on their ear. You just don't like Ted Cruz because you don't like Hispanics. You're a racist. How's it feel, Lefty? You're a racist. Yeah, I know. It's pretty much hollow, right? Just as hollow as the words were when you made that claim about every single conservative on the planet who questioned any of Barack Obama's policies. You question a policy, you were automatically a racist. Well, you know, that same game can be played, but I'm tired of playing the games. Tired of other people playing the games. Politics is not a game. It is for some people, like Karl Rove. Karl Rove has his hand full, having picked a fight with Glenn Beck. Although, actually, the fight was kind of off to the side. It's a sidebar. The two of them aren't directly involved. Glenn has been saying for a very long time, and I guess it goes to show how well people are paying attention. Glenn Beck has been saying for a very long time he's not a GOP guy. He's not happy with the party. He hasn't supported them. He's been selling T-shirts for over a year. I don't know exactly how long, but well over a year. That read, defund the GOP. Okay, he's obviously not a Republican Party guy. He's an independent conservative. No mystery there. Hasn't shown any financial support for the party. If ever. Who knows? I don't know. He's been saying for a very long time that he's over it, no more. That got reported by certain media outlets as if it was a brand new news flash, and oh my gosh, and they made a big deal about it, and Karl Rove made a statement because he's being asked about it on one of the Sunday shows. And basically he called Glenn irrelevant, which obviously that's not the case. And I think they're going to get a good dose of that. But the bottom line is, Carl, you need to stay focused. Your boy Jeb's in trouble now. Because Ted is only the first to come out. But let's continue with the attack. The long knife story. Such notable personalities like Donnie Deutsch got involved. He showed up on Morning Joe. And he was giving Ted down the road, talking about how he was slimy and dangerous and... Really? Donnie, seriously. Do you know Ted Cruz? Have you met Ted Cruz? Have you paid any attention to his career? Or are you just falling in line with all your little liberal buddies who think, oh my gosh, this guy believes in the Constitution. He must be dangerous. He's a real radical. At any rate, show your ignorance a little more, Donnie. Keep saying this stuff. Make it stronger. California governor said Ted Cruz isn't fit to hold office. Really? Well, now you know why there's a very different voting bloc between California and Texas. All I know is right now, I'm very excited about Ted